All right, let's dive into something that sounds super complicated, but is actually one of the coolest ways we have to make sense of the world. We're going to pull back the curtain on regression analysis. I mean, seriously, who hasn't? You're trying to figure out how well a new product will sell, or maybe what your grade will be on that final exam. We're all trying to get a little glimpse of what's coming next. Well, it turns out there's a tool for that. Now, it's not a crystal ball, okay? But regression analysis gets us surprisingly close by finding patterns in the past to help us forecast the future. So let's get into it. What exactly is this thing? What is regression at its heart? You know, when you strip it all down, this is what it is. It's just a way to look at different things, we call them variables, and figure out how they connect to each other. It's kind of like being a data detective. And really, it all boils down to this one question. If I study one more hour, how much does my test score go up? If I spend another dollar on ads, how many more sales do I get? It puts a number on that relationship. You know, the best way to really get this is to see it in action. So let's use a super simple example with students and exam scores. Okay, so imagine we have this data. On one side, we have the hours a student studied. On the other, their final score. Just by looking at it, you can probably feel the pattern, right? It seems like more study time means a better score. And that's exactly what regression does, but with math. It looks at all those separate dots on a graph and draws one single straight line right through the middle of them that best sums up the trend. All right, so we've got our data points, we've got this line of best fit, but how do we actually turn that into a tool that can, predict something? This is what the analysis spits out. It gives us a simple little formula that is basically our prediction machine. It takes that trend line and turns it into a recipe. But let's zoom in on the numbers here, because the most important piece of this whole puzzle, the real magic, is this number right here, 5. This little number is called the coefficient. And what that 5 is telling us is so simple but so powerful. It means that for every single extra hour a student hits the books, we predict their score will go up by 5 points. See, we just turned a bunch of data into a real insight. Now, what we just did, using just one thing to predict another, is called simple regression. But life's usually more complicated, isn't it? What if we wanted to add in how much sleep they got or how many classes they attended? Well, that's when we use multiple regression. It just lets us build a much richer, more accurate prediction. Okay, so regression is obviously a super powerful tool. But before you run off and start predicting everything, there is a massive critical warning that you absolutely have to know. This is, without a doubt, the #1 trap people fall into. Regression is amazing at showing you that two things are related. It does not, and I mean not, prove that one thing causes the other. Think about it this way. It's a classic example. Ice cream sales go up at the same time that sunburns go up. They are strongly related, but does eating ice cream cause sunburns? No, of course not. There's a hidden factor, right? Hot weather causes both. Regression finds the connection. It's our job to be smart about what it means. So as long as we keep that huge warning in mind, where do we actually use this? Well, pretty much everywhere. Businesses use it to forecast sales. Scientists use it to analyze experiments. It's used in healthcare, in economics. It is the engine behind so many data-driven decisions. And that's really it. That's the basic idea behind one of the most useful tools in statistics. So I'll just leave you with this question. What relationship in your world would you want to explore? What patterns might be hiding just under the surface? Thanks so much for tuning in.